Tokyo is probably the only true metropolis in the world. I think it's the most stimulating, design-wise, service-wise, movement-wise city.
This little island of 127 million people is responsible for more luxury consumption than any other place on Earth.
And so we cannot do without the Japanese market.
Despite commanding over a quarter of the world's luxury market, Japanese consumers are some of the most discerning customers in the world. For leading global brands to survive in this demanding environment, they must constantly innovate and adapt their marketing strategies. In this program, we will find out how the leading names intend to keep up with this ever-changing market. And we hear from the leaders behind the brands as they discuss the business of luxury. For centuries, the Japanese have had a profound appreciation for design and craftsmanship. From art and architecture to music and theatre, Japanese culture still honours its traditions. However, brands with superior craftsmanship and cutting-edge design from overseas have, for the past 20 years, been making their mark on this country.
I think the Japanese customer is really good eyes, the good sense, and they know about quality. We know about quality.
You don't have to tell the Japanese customer, this is very good, this is French craftsmanship. Because by the time they pick it up, they know immediately. They all have all this tradition in appreciating fine things.
Japan has historically, which in luxury industry terms means really the last 15 years, because that's as long as there has been a luxury industry, accounted for almost 40% of luxury sales globally. In 2003, it was estimated that 93.7% of women in Japan in their 20s owned a Louis Vuitton purse. This is simply the only really mature luxury market in the world.
Japan accounts for around a quarter of global luxury sales, but it's a fiercely competitive market at the forefront of technology, design, and fashion. So what better place for the leaders of top global brands to meet and discuss the ever-changing pulse of the global luxury market? From established brands like Valentino, Aquascutum, Gucci, and Louis Vuitton, to newcomers like Stella McCartney, the brands are here to plan for the future.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Dan. It's my very great pleasure to welcome you all to the Financial Times Business of Luxury Summit.
The FT conference is an opportunity to explore issues that are at the forefront of discussion, conversation, and thought in the luxury industry, and to try and give tools that can help them take their businesses forward.
This meeting of minds is one of the few opportunities for the players behind the brands to discuss future trends and strategies. Consumer currents are explored along with marketing ideas for maintaining growth in this phenomenal market. But Japan hasn't always held pole position. In 1945, the country was brought to its knees. The land of the rising sun crumbled from Allied air attacks. Her cities were all but destroyed.
I think the post-war, Japan lost everything. I think as an adult people looking for the newspapers, the British man had nice suits, everything. Imagine that, we need something. And we need some more entertainment, some beautiful things, of course.
At the beginning of the 1950s, the Japanese government installed a series of interventionist economic policies, which, along with help from American investment, laid the seeds for the greatest economic rebirth in history. In 40 years, Japan transformed itself into the second largest economy in the world. Today, Japan is an essential marketplace for all the world's biggest luxury brands. However, it is not without its challenges.
It's quite important to make sure that your quality, your service is impeccable, because the Japanese customer is perhaps the most demanding and perhaps the most almost unforgiving to lack of authenticity, lack of quality, lack of service.
We have to be very careful here because these clients are very discerning and they will not forgive you if you make quality or service mistakes.
I think the Japanese market is quite testing for brands. It's a market where information is very important. The consumers are very well informed.
Especially the younger customers are much more technology savvy, and they know more about the brand than they knew 5 years ago. They come to the shops and they know everything about the brand, and that means that you cannot cheat anybody. You need to be absolutely natural and unique. You need to be yourself.
So how do the big brands do it? Integrity has been central to the strategy of Italian design house Zegna. Through its uncompromising approach, it has successfully established itself in many different markets throughout the world.
Japanese market, first of all, I do believe that being the second largest luxury market in the world was important, is important, it will be important. The Japanese culture is very pro-quality, is very pro-service, is very pro-beauty. We really care for those things as Zegna, and so we cannot do without the Japanese market. At the end, the final answer is the customer. I mean, who most than the customer tells you the truth? You'll better make sure that your brand integrity is, and brand value is consistent throughout the world. The brand value is number one thing. I mean, if you ask me what is your asset, I think after the family, the brand equity is the most important factor. So we would not compromise for brand equity.
Dedication towards quality and excellence is the hallmark of British fashion house Aquascutum. Trading on a 200-year-old heritage, Aquascutum has found it easier than most to conquer the notoriously difficult Japanese market.
The Japanese market is very interested in the products, the product details, the quality, the heritage. And actually, in a way, I love this because the brand's got a lot to talk about. The brand's got this very rich heritage. So to market Aquascutum in Japan is relatively easy because the brand awareness is very high. But what customers don't realize is how modern the products become. So it's a different form of marketing in Japan to the West. In the West, it's only been known for all the new product, so it's already in all the right stores right from the beginning. Aquascutum is turning and becoming much more modern, loving its heritage, but becoming much more modern, and the Japanese market is vital to see those changes.
As a truly evolved luxury consumer, the Japanese customer is an example to the rest of the world. This high-level consumerism leads to a demand for more and more unique products.
Clearly, the Japanese market was a logo-driven market for a very long time. Part of the maturation cycle in markets is that as more and more people have logo-driven products, then early adapters get interested in things that are not logo-driven, that demonstrate a level of insider knowledge. And I think you see that happening here increasingly, which is why brands like Bottega Veneta, which 5 years ago were pretty much nowhere, are actually now the most profitable brands in Gucci Group and actually are growing.
It is true that the Japanese market is shrinking, but what's changing, most importantly, is how the consumer is approaching brands. There was definitely a time where the approach was pretty much brand or logo based, and now the approach is much more individual. So this is a kind of consumer that you have in Japan. Bottega's philosophy has always been, since the very beginning, a philosophy that has no age. Because when, as an individual, you grow up, not age-wise, but in terms of taste, in terms of needs, you don't want necessarily to be part of a large group. I believe that this is something that it's happening in the luxury world more and more.
It's one thing for the established brands to trade on their heritage in Japan, but what about the newcomers? How do young brands like Stella McCartney break into the Japanese market?
Japan is very much away now from the show-off moment. They're looking for something unique, something not logo-driven. They want something that you don't have with the people that is at the same table with you. Stella is very much about style and not very much about logo. And so you feel very feminine and unique and confident if you wear Stella without telling that you wear Stella. The company is absolutely very, very young. I mean, if you think that first collection was Spring/Summer '02, the company is 5 years and a half old. So it's like being in this industry at the primary school. The company is one of the few brands in the world, actually, where the name of the creative director has the same name of the brand. So you can imagine the kind of attention that Stella put in any single creative activity. And despite the economic situation in different regions, US or Europe, we are growing very fast everywhere. The name, I think, helped a lot at the very beginning. But now, I mean, it's the talent of Stella that came out, I believe, in the recent years. And the kind of style, the kind of lifestyle that Stella is presenting and in the industry, I think is as well quite unique. We are not at all a logo-driven brand. We talk very much about lifestyle and way of life. So we can succeed in mature market like Japan, for example, where the show-off moment is gone and it's very much about a way of life moment now. So at the very end, we can see the future very bright for us.
But it's not enough for even the established brands just to trade on their name in Japan.
I think that the consumer is changing, that the people are changing because of everybody of us is getting older and older. So we have to adapt that values to a different consumer. Part of our business target is definitely to enlarge our customer base and to go to new customer that are, how can I say, younger for sure and more contemporary as well. We are facing a major transition. We are adapting and evolving our product to a new consumer. We are able to take a different position in Japan. But I think that what Valentino stated in terms of style and values is still valid today. Valentino is glamour, Valentino is elegance, Valentino is red carpet, Valentino is celebrities, and we want to keep that dream alive.
Coming up in this program, the Luxury Channel finds out how new and established brands are planning for the future as they look outside the box to new technologies and intriguing marketing strategies.
I think the new brand coming into Japan is going to be tough. You better know what you're doing.
So far, the Luxury Channel has discovered how the world's top brands market themselves in Japan. But what about the newcomers? How do they intend to break into this fiercely competitive environment?
I think that to come into a market like Japan, I mean, you really have to bring a breakthrough because this market is so full of competition.
One company who believe their products sit at the top of an already crowded market is Vertu. They marry the worlds of communication and luxury together with their bespoke mobile phones.
Vertu is unique because we have really been the pioneers of bringing together mobile technology and the world of luxury. When you ask what a luxury phone is, it's not different from what a luxury watch is or a luxury handbag. If you want something that tells the time accurately, you can buy a quite good quartz watch for maybe 50 euros. But yet people spend a lot of money on luxury watches because a luxury watch is made of great materials, is made by hand, it's made in exclusive quantities with exclusive designs. It's no different from what we do at Vertu with mobile phones. Japan is one of the top luxury markets in the world, and we believe it's a very big opportunity. We are coming to Japan this year. We have very high expectations for the market. A very important part of the proposition as well is what we call the concierge service. Every one of our phones comes with a button that when you press, you can call a concierge. And this concierge service, which is included for free on the first year, allows you to book anything you want. We have had at Vertu Concierge some rather unusual requests, including organizing a wedding for 400 people with 2 months in advance, which was quite a challenge, and even someone who wanted to rent an elephant for a party, which we were able to provide, I must say.
Another example of a new brand breaking into the competitive Japanese market is Keelin. They bring Eastern inspiration together with Western marketing with their unique €12,000 diamond-encrusted creations.
We believe that a contemporary brand can't be ethnic and get the source of inspiration only in one single culture. And we think it would be a shame to have, to set some barrier or some borders, and that the inspiration should come from anywhere in the world.
There is a lot of things, for example, like the panda bear, but instead of making it like a real panda, I use the silhouette of the teddy bear. Because when I live in UK, I collect a lot of antique teddy bears. And so this is very much the brand represents East meets West, and to bring a modern twist into the design. As you can see, the panda got a little bit of challenge because all the limbs is articulated. There's 360-degree purvey, in which is a breakthrough in the jewelry craftsmanship.
The response of the Japanese customers is very, very, definitely extraordinary, I would say. So we believe there is a very, very big potential in Japan for Keelin.
One way of attracting the discerning Japanese customer is by offering them a unique shopping experience. More and more brands are opening concept stores in Japan.
The Western brands have all recently invested in these enormous flagship stores, which are half luxury retailers, half experiential emporiums with cafes and concert halls and art galleries and private clubs.
Concept stores are stores that also are an entertainment place. Those concept stores in the world are very important because they are trendsetter.
One of the newest concept stores to open is Dunhill. This traditional British brand has taken a bold step into the 21st century by opening a new store in Tokyo's Ginza district. The boutique was designed by Tatsuya Matsui.
Dunhill is my image is very British, but they want to open for their Ginza area. Ginza area is like a very modern in Tokyo still, right? I presentation to the very Tokyo style to the Dunhill, and Dunhill is they want to show the British image, but if you make show to the only the British, I think Tokyo people doesn't understand. It's a mixed culture, the Tokyo modernism and British modernism using the mix. Simple is the most beautiful. Simple is the most beautiful. Simple can make beautiful worlds.
As well as his architecture and design work, Tatsuya Matsui is also at the cutting edge of the robotic revolution.
I think it's any Japanese boy love the Star Wars example. And I think a really typical Japanese boy. It was.
Tatsuya Matsui's robotic creations have already caught the imaginations of designers worldwide. Both Hannah Mori and Louis Vuitton have used his robots to display their lines, along with, of course, Dunhill.
Our concept is it's mainly mix using each culture, and the British style and the Tokyo style, and also the tradition and the modern.
As well as 3 floors of classic British fashion, Dunhill's concept store also boasts a fully stocked bar and a traditional gentleman's barber.
This is a very symbolic photograph about this shop concept. You can see it about this car. It's very traditional, old British car. It's very gentleman's style and very traditional and very British, actually. But look at this car. It's a really modern car, which is it's a very important concept for the tradition within modern. I think Dunhill is still 21st century.
One luxury brand taking their marketing strategy even further is Chanel. This famous French fashion house has commissioned internationally renowned architect Zaha Hadid to design and create a mobile art museum. The exhibition will travel the world, stopping off at every major city. The structure houses the work of 20 artists, whose pieces all relate to one iconic accessory.
The project has been based on the iconic handbag from '55, and the artworks are partly dealing with the theme of handbags, so the artists are really looking into how they can relate to it and transform that into their own world of art.
2 years ago, it was the right moment to find a way to build an image operation which was based on this bag and which conveys all the values of Chanel.
There was a list of artists, and then the idea was to put them into a building which travels together with the art around the world. So rather than having the people move to the museum moves around the world to see the people.
A few companies would go to such great lengths as to have Zaha Hadid build a UFO that can be dismantled and remantled in every big city in the world, and then ask over 20 artists to work around the concept of that bag. So I just thought of that idea and I thought, you know, you can either try and avoid it, or you can just inflate it. There are the two options you have. I guess I went for the inflating one. My work's always very quirky, so it's not about getting too serious about it. We should keep it light.
As we have seen, the Japanese market has already reached saturation point. But what of the future? How do classic luxury brands intend to keep pace with this notorious market? One answer is to hire young designers who can bring new concepts and designs to the consumers of tomorrow. One such designer is Tokujin Yoshioka.
一番重要なのはやはり新しい考え方だと思うんですね。で、僕は一番重要だと感じているのは、本当に今までにないものをどうやって作るかっていうのが重要だと思うんですけど。
Recently, Tokujin was commissioned by Swarovski to reinterpret their products. He created an extraordinary installation for the Milan Design Show that brought out the beauty and purity of the Swarovski brand.
やっぱりスワロフスキーといろいろ仕事をやっていく中で一番重要なのはやっぱりクリスタルの美しさをたくさんの人に理解していただくってことが重要だと思うんですね。まあ、お店に訪れた人がどういう感覚でどういうブランドでどういうふうに感じてほしいのかっていうものを形にしていく感じですかね。自分でもよくわからないんですけど、ここから必ず生まれてくるっていうのは全くないんですよね。で、生活をしていく中でいろんななんて言いますかね、いろんな要素の中で自分のデザインを作り上げていくんですけど、ただ一番やっぱり今まで例として多いのが自然現象っていうものにすごく興味があって、その自然っていうのは一番美しく、そしてなんて言いますかね、なんかすごくコントロールできない美しさっていうものはすごくあると思うんですね。で、そういう二度と再生されないようなシーンであるとか、そういう中ですごく何かイメージが湧いてくるっていうのはありますね。
As this program has discovered, the Japanese market in luxury goods is one of the largest and most competitive in the world. Established brands need to constantly innovate their strategies, and new brands have to position themselves carefully by offering the highest quality products and a unique shopping experience. But what about the super luxury brands? Is the Japanese consumer ready for them?
The Far East represents the new frontier for our market. Traditionally, the Ferretti Group sell boats specifically in the Mediterranean and in Florida. But the culture is changing here too. So more and more Asian people are appreciating luxury boats. This is something new. I think will continue to progress. As new developments, new marina, new infrastructure comes along in this area of the world, I believe that we will see more and more wealthy people looking at luxury boats as the new frontier for a Western type of lifestyle. Again, it's a new market for us. It's a market that will develop over time. We believe that within 5 years it will be a substantial market.